Evening all. How we doing? Yeah, I prepared the tea beforehand this time, Don. Only just though, like literally minutes before coming online. I even managed to squeeze in half a bounty. Right, shall we take a look at what I've been up to then? Quite a few things actually this week. We've been doing lots of bug testing, putting I think 4 builds out over the past couple of days. Sort of averaging 2 builds a day, which is quite cool. Just getting lots of stuff fixed. And I also made some engines, so let's go and have a look at that. Yoop, down to mini-me. Right, let's load the right level. I didn't know until about a week ago that you could favourite levels. It's funny how you learn little things over time, and that completely escaped me that you could do that. And it is in fact the wrong level, because obviously we want the main ship, not my little UFO. Oh, I'm glad it's not me, Arix. I also fixed one of the things which annoys me more than anything else, which is when you're trying to press one of the UIs and it just says press F to sit continuously, and it no longer does. So there's some engines out there. You can see that the collision for chairs is now using complex collision for the actual trace. So it will only highlight when you're actually on chair geometry, which means you can now look over someone's shoulder without it constantly trying to sit you down. So like when you're up here and you're trying to interact with the screen, it's not constantly saying press F to sit. I know that's a tiny thing, but that just annoyed the hell out of me continuously, so I'm glad to have gotten that one fixed. Let's put the ship in the sun a little bit. Okay, we have engines now. So this is probably not the final design for the engines, but it's close to what I was going for with them. I wanted something that was not too blocky, kind of curvy to match the rest of the ship, but also functional at the same time. Obviously, you need to be able to actually repair and service these engines, so they need to be kind of physicalized objects. So we can't have any, overtly sci-fi engines that are just, meaningless strips of glowy stuff. They actually have to be, physical devices that you can interact with. So the support pylons underneath will have stairs running up through them, both up and down. And then inside the actual engine pod itself, you can see there's engines at the front as well for braking. You'll be able to actually get in there, service the engines. The fuel tanks will be in the pod as well, so you'll be able to do all the engineering you need to do inside the engine pods. But while I was at it, I also made a little glowy effect for the plasma as well, so they actually do come on properly. I'll make that fade in and out nicely, maybe later today on the stream. But if we add a bit of velocity to this, to Earth flyby while we're at it. Lost Earth. Oh no, there it is. So you see right now the obviously the engines are firing forwards, but if I face the opposite direction and disable the FTL, you'll see that the rear-facing, or rather the forward-facing engines then fire to slow the ship down. So now all the engines are off. Yeah, that was one of the main points of doing this Wolf to Wolf. I think one of the best franchises for showing vessels in space is the Star Furies in Babylon 5. They are perfectly practical space combat vessels, and we need vessels that have proper functional engines that actually do properly slow the ship down. I mean, to save on mass, you could do a flip and burn to slow down, but with a vessel of this nature, when cost really isn't a concern, it's much better just to actually have braking engines so that you can slow the ship down without having to flip it around backwards. If I go full throttle a minute. Let's have a think about that one, Paul. When it comes to going outside and doing EVAs and all that sort of thing, obviously we do want you to be able to EVA away from the ship. Yeah, but we'll have to figure out how that works. Yes, Delta. So once we have the engines actually working properly for FTL, as in the sublight engines are providing the thrust for the FTL drive, then they will actually turn off once you've hit your desired speed. So the ship will coast at that velocity. The way the FTL engines work is that they multiply the current velocity in the direction of the field. So right now we're prograde in the field direction, so it's amplifying all of that forward velocity by some massive factor. Right, so what I want to do... Oh, really? Oh yeah, I apologise for lag. It's raining really, really hard here at the moment. Hang on, let's see if I can do something about it. Might be able to change my... Let's hope it reconnects. Am I back? Can you hear me? Yeah, we good? Okay. Yeah, I'll try and fix the weather. I think it's easier just to change Wi-Fi. Good. Right, hopefully that'll be better now. Good. Right, so what I wanted to do is show you the engine's braking from the inside, because it does look very, very cool. So if I quickly stop it, teleport down, there you go. You see the engines firing from inside the lounge. I'm seeing movement. Hello? Are we online? Yeah, you got me live? Yeah, great. We're back on Starlink again.
Just keep switching backwards and forwards.
Yeah, obviously our PlusNet connection is a little bit too far away. What pain. Speed-wise, the Starlink's actually been really, really good. Sometimes I get upwards of 400 to 500 megabit out of it, which is significantly quicker than the 70 odd I was getting from my landline. What I was going to do is give you an engine demonstration from outside. Let's do it from C-Deck. Hop over all the framework a minute. We're quite the way into the sticks where we are, so fibre would involve an awful lot of digging up roads. Yeah, there's something particularly cool at just seeing massive engines next to you. Obviously, they're going to be a lot more detailed yet, so what you see there is just a placeholder, but that's generally the design I'm going with, and that'll be covered with the the white hull paneling you see on the rest of the ship over there. It's going to have like heat sinks down the sides, so you'll see like a grill down the sides, which might even glow a bit red when it gets nice and hot, and obviously we'll do much better plasma exhausts there. But yeah, that's kind of where we're going with it. And the idea with the pylons is where you've got the outside of C-Deck here, which will be black. So around where the windows are, this will be black hull plating, and then this bit will be white hull plating. Going for that whole black and white NASA look. And around here, so we'll continue this lip all the way around the edge with the black paint, and then probably up the pylon itself as well. And as I say, there's enough room inside for stairs, so you'll have a maintenance access way up into the engine pod, both up and down on both sides. It should be very cool. Yes, Scotty, a jet-like cowling. The idea is obviously above and below you've got really sort of thick armour plating to protect the engines, but at the sides and the front and back, that's where all the actual workings are. So obviously you've got the plasma exhaust at the front and back, and then all the heat sinks down the sides, and those things can't be covered in armour plating, so that's where you've got this like little overhang just to protect it a little bit more. The intakes for fueling are going to be on the underside of the ship, so right at the front. Need to run through my favourite bit. I can't wait until this has got like a nice little railing around it with maybe some lights on it. I don't know why I love that little cut through so much. It's just a neat little area. But yeah. Yeah, the refueling hardware is going to be underneath there on the keel fin. So probably about halfway down, you'll have an opening with the gas collection hardware. So when we're skimming gas giants for fuel, that will all kind of be sucking in all the gases that we need. Yeah, I'm sure you could probably get a chair into the engines. Anyways, yeah, so that's what I've been working on for the past couple of days. What I've been doing today is I've built a new system for connecting our backers list, so the credits, to a database, which is what I've been working on here. So the idea is it populates all of these lists with live data. And the rationale there is that we can then update that data outside of the game, so that we can add backers without having to patch the game. And we'll do the same with the backer systems as well. So we'll be able to add and edit backer systems without having to actually patch the client to do so. So basically we just connect to the SQL database, run our query, grab the results from that query, which is just basically an array of rows. We then split that by backer rank into separate arrays, and then I wrote a little helper function there to populate all of the data. So it kind of works out which column to put things in, and that displays our data. So if we switch back to the main menu, yeah, hopefully we'll have everyone in there. I think there's, what is it, 6,000 backers, like, give or take. So there's a lot of names to put in there, and Claire is very diligently going through them all at the moment, making sure we've got names for the credits. And
if you're a Kickstarter backer, please make sure you do the survey, otherwise I can't put you in the credits.
Yeah, we need that credits name so that we can populate this, because what we've got right now is, if we scroll down a bit, you can see that we've got some gaps in the data. So obviously what it's doing is it's just pulling out all of the backers that have a rank, but if those backers don't have a chosen name for the credits, then obviously we've got nothing we can display here. So they just come up blank, which is the next thing I was going to fix, actually, so that that doesn't happen.
The Kickstarter survey that went out in December, we still have a lot of people that haven't answered it.
Yeah, the Kickstarter survey on Kickstarter. One of the issues we have actually is none of the fonts that we've got, including the fonts that are actually built into Unreal, seem to support things like umlauts and special characters. So you got issues like with this person here, where it doesn't recognize the character in the name. So for now, if it's like a U with an umlaut, we're just going to make it a normal U without the umlaut, until we can find a font that actually has all the characters that we need. It's weird that, you know, really popular fonts like Microma don't have those built in, unless they do, and it's just Unreal that's messing it up, but we shall see. Right then, so what I wanted to do is actually skip any of these that don't have an actual name, so we don't add them to the arrays. It should be as simple as if we get row or column 1, and then we do is empty, So if the column is empty, do nothing. Otherwise, go ahead and populate stuff. Okay, so hopefully that alone should fix all the blanks. Let's give that a whirl. Yep, there we go. The other thing it's worth pointing out is some people have put some really long names down as their choices. Like this one's long, not as extreme as some, but we might need to enforce a character limit, because what's happening is it's obviously it's truncating other people in the final column there. So I will try making the font a bit smaller and then lessening the gap between the rows. But yeah, we might need to enforce character limits. So if we grab all these spacers, maybe drop that down to 50. And at the same time, if we maybe drop that down to 18. Don't want to make the names too small. Yeah, that's a bit better. Still truncating some. So what I have is a spreadsheet where I've been constructing all of the SQL queries for this, which I can't show you because it's got backer details on. But if we go to Commodore one, and we'll add those. I keep encountering these edge cases with the data where you have people that have like a nickname or pseudonym in speech marks, and of course that then messes up the fact that we're using speech marks to delimitate fields. Okay, so I'm just renaming that. Bear with me, I'll show you what I'm doing in a sec. So that should be the field. So you go onto here, and then we can pop that in there. Yeah, so we've got situations like this where obviously we've got speech marks and then someone with speech marks in their name, and that messes up the query. Great name. And then you've got examples like this where you've got apostrophes and speech marks all together, all mixed up, which of course SQL absolutely loves. And I think you could maybe escape them. I don't know if I've got a backspace on this keyboard. Do I have a backspace? Yeah, I do. Can we escape those out? Yeah, we can. Okay. I'm going to have to find a way in the spreadsheet of automatically escaping these characters, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Hey Tuff, probably the build after the next one. So the next update will be focusing on the bridge. So that's basically bridge gameplay that will include 2 NPCs, the ability to interact with the holo display, and basically the ability to be the captain on the bridge and just order those NPCs around, either directly by looking at them or by interacting with the holo display. After that, we will take a look at subflight engines, the actual subflight flight model, and the ship colliding with stuff, which will also include the addition of wormholes, because we can't add wormholes until the ship can collide with things in a sublight environment. Lots of things have prerequisites like that. Almost there. Right, there we go. Right, so what I then do, now that we've kind of sanitized the query a little bit, somewhere on one of my many screens I have that. Right, so if we paste this into there, it's like the mother load. And then basically every time we update the data, we'll just clear out all the rows and replace them with new ones. It's easier than trying to find people and update them. We'll just strip them and re-add them in one hit. Okay, just wait for that to complete. Oh, I missed one. Who was that? Lobo. If you're on Kickstarter, then the survey would have been sent to your inbox. Oh, sorry, Javier, I will look for that now. Missed that one too. I thought I'd got them all. How did I miss so many? Yeah, it's one of the things when you're dealing with a lot of data like this. Yeah, when you've got literally 6,000 rows of data to sanitize, you really need to come up with automated ways of doing it. And I do prefer using spreadsheets to build SQL queries because you can obviously construct the queries programmatically that way rather than having to type it out every single time. Didn't press import, did I? Sadly, no sorry, I seem to have lost the ability to speak. Sadly, no, Nate, you can't, because it's like a mixing of speech marks and apostrophes, both of which are valid and included, but if you put them together in the same row, then it gets confusing, because you can use either to delimitate a text field, but if you have a mix of speech marks and apostrophes within the text field, then it invalidates that query, which is a bit of a pain. Although I think we got it now. There we go. Yeah, so you can see here again we've got someone on this side has a huge name. Who is that? Hang on, I need to make that longer. So the way I'm handling the scroll is it's doing it via an animation, but you kind of don't know in advance how far down that is. So like if I make that minus 10,000, then we have to move this accordingly. In the right place. Actually, I've got a funny issue with this, and I don't quite know why. So normally, you can select a location along a timeline, and then when you press this, it literally says set playback end to the current position. And it ain't doing it when you click it. And also, you can't drag that either. You used to be able to drag that to set the end position. I don't know what I've done, but neither of those things work. But you can still drag the timeline there, so don't know. Broke something there. Answers on a postcard. Yeah, right now the names are basically the order that they are on the spreadsheet, which is not sorted. But we'll sort that once all the data's actually done and sanitized. Don't want to start mixing it up whilst Claire's still working. Claire is still working on it because she'll shout at me. Right, who has the crazy long name? Yeah, I suppose I could do that. I also need to then do because I'd have to do separate queries based on. Actually, no, I probably would. No, I would. Would I or not? I'm just thinking because obviously they're stored with their rank. So if we were to do the whole query in order, I suppose that would still work rank-wise, wouldn't it? Because we're just adding the A's as we go through and then the B's. Yeah, I'll try it. Let's try that. I've never used group by before, actually. Yeah, it still works. That's good. Because of the way it picks through the data, it's going through and kind of pigeonholing each rank as it goes. So the fact that it's done en masse doesn't really make a difference, which is nice. Although we do still have some very, very long names in here. You are a useful person to know, Binary. Right, let's see if I can make that text just a tiny, tiny bit smaller. Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, when it's full screened, that's still, you know, reasonably large. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23. Maybe we limit it to 30 characters. See, I could probably actually do that straight in the database field, couldn't I? It's been a long time since I worked with SQL. Name vark. Oh, it's limited to 30 already. Interesting. All good. Let's give that another try. Yeah, I was thinking it was a little hard to read against the planets. I mean, I did put a border around it, but I'm wondering whether it needs a drop shadow as well. We could always add a grayed out faded background if necessary. In fact, that's probably a good idea, isn't it? Of course, the problem with that is which bit is it scrolling? Why aren't we seeing the border? Ah, that's why. It doesn't really help, to be honest, because it pushes the width of the column. Yeah, good luck finding yourself out, right? 'Cause it's there's a lot of names. A lot of special characters we need to fix as well. You'll be one of those people that Claire's been cursing for the past few days.
Me?
Yeah. People that have like a different email on each platform, a different name on each platform,
Yeah.
which is completely different to their name on Discord.
Makes it very difficult to find people.
Yeah. And it's like, who are these people?
I'm thoroughly expecting a DM now with the actual name you want, please.
What do we think of that, or is that too dark? That's as slow as I can make it. It's probably about right, to be honest. It's actually really nice to finally get the credits done. Because obviously we've been sitting on this list of 6,000 names that we needed to input into the system, and yeah, looking for a way of actually doing that without having to type each one manually. So let's reduce that gap a little bit more. Where is it? Here. suppose when it really comes to it, the gap between each one only really affects the longest name in the list, so we don't need necessarily a big gap. Because if we do that, then we can probably stick that back up to 30 characters again. Hopefully. Yeah, that's a good point actually, Nate. I don't think they should actually be there. I think that's an oversight on the menu. Yeah, centering the columns is easier said than done, because one of the reasons I dislike working with UMG with a vengeance is because, so you got the border in the background, which everything inherits from. You've got a center aligned credits box there, which contains everything, and then you've got a horizontal box which basically allows you to do horizontally arranged columns, which itself is also aligned, centered. And then you've got the list views themselves, which are also aligned, centered, and, well, I suppose we better check the text as well. And the text, which should be, oh, that's not aligned, centered. Okay, we'll try that one. It is a bit of a nightmare. Let's see whether or not that's actually centered. No. See? So everything is set to centered, and yet it doesn't. It's a bit like working with HTML in that regard. Sometimes it just doesn't do what it's told. Yeah, I mean, we could go with having 3 rows and also making this wider, because I think it's set to, I think 900, I think I set it to. I mean, no one's using less than 1080p these days, are they? So you can probably get away with 1000 on that. Let's see whether that helps. I'll leave them scaled differently so we can see the difference. No, it's all good, Nate. It all helps. What's the resolution of the Steam Deck? I figured it would just be 1080p. Okay. It's fitting better. Right, so you all need to be that way round. Ah, okay. That's a surprise. I guess it makes sense. Such a tiny little device. Alright, I think that'll do it actually. I mean, we do have some pretty long names here. Yeah. So I think what we might do with some people is we'll probably just contact them and say, yeah, can we get a shorter version of your name, please? Because some of them are extremely long. I think we're all right for the in-game fountain thing. So for the rear vice and fleet admirals, in the park area we're going to have some kind of water feature or ornamental something or other that's going to have all the admiral names on it, so they definitely can't be too long. No, I'm happy with that. I think that works. Okay, well, that's 1,000 names down and 5,000 more to go. But I will do those off stream to save you watching me copy paste a lot, which is never interesting. Oh, and I'll sort out the social media icons overlaying it as well. Right, what else was I doing? I was going to do something else. Oh, we were going to do a test, weren't we? Right, so for anyone that, did you announce it already? Have I?
No,
okay.
I didn't know if you were going to.
That's just me not just paying attention at all. So we're going to do a test of the development build just to see whether or not we can find any more bugs to fix live on stream. Claire's going to host a game, so... Well, I thought that was the plan.
We didn't decide on who was hosting.
Oh.
I just assumed you would be.
No, I'm busy. Yeah, so Claire will host a game, and she will stick a password on it. What password should we choose?
I immediately went down the pretty face, but it's a bit long.
What about Danstream? Alright, Danstream, all lowercase, all one word. Yeah, I'll yes, PC5 dev build. I'll type that in chat. We should have gone with banana first, especially as Claire was eating bananas right before going on stream, so that would have been fitting. Right, let's clear this horribly bright screen. There we go. Right, so I will also join. It's weird. Why does that say failed? Yeah. Oh wow, loads of people piling in. Yeah. I noticed that door was a little bit flaky when I tried to run through it. Oh yeah, there we go. I was going to say I'm pressing tab, I couldn't see anyone. Oh no, that's because of that join problem. So when a new player joins, it resets the holo display. So yeah. Okay, so how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's 13 people in the game so far. That's not too bad. Seems to be holding up. Sure. Hopefully that's better. Claire has a new PC thanks to Dell. So we had a very nice person from Dell contact us and say that they're helping out indie studios in partnership with Epic. So they sent her a new dev PC, which is really cool. So she's no longer running on her old i5 that she was on before. Okay, so we've got 16 people in game now, and still seems to be holding up. Oh, ish. Mug's a bit laggy. Where'd you go? Oh, okay. I was going to wave a mug at you. Just put that there. There we go. Oh, we're inside a star. Try doing it from the host controls. I don't know to what extent that is working, but yeah, just click done. See whether that works. That might break the password. So you need to be on the dev build in order to see the game. Ah yes, roly-poly, the lift is now working, so clients can now use the lift, which is good. Might need to increase the replication rate on these doors actually, because they're very laggy. Yeah, the netcode is not happy.
Should I remake another game to let more people?
Sure, you can give it a try. It's an interesting stress test actually, because so what we are, yes, we're still on 16.
Some people on stream will try to join, of course they can.
Okay, yeah, set it to 100. Just we'll see. We'll stress test it and see how many people we can actually support. Because some things like the lift are definitely lagging.
I think it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, but this is useful because I can set the net priority a little bit higher on the lift. Because I mean, it's working, it's replicating, it's just doing so very, very slowly. Okay, Claire's just recreating the game with a higher player count.
I always put down socks. Okay, still downstream.
Yep. Yeah, Tech Demo 3 version number should end in 0.76. The password should be danstream, all one word, all lowercase. Oh, no it's not. I bet Claire typed it wrong.
I did.
Danstream. It says bad password. Did you do like a capital or something? No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
That's your fault.
Yeah, it is actually. I've been telling Claire to capitalize things all week. So that's Danstream with a capital D.
Sorry. It's his fault. He keeps going on and on and on at me about capitalising everything.
Yeah. Well, what I'll be, Eric's, what I want to do is create multiple profiles. Yeah, capital D Zoke. So Danstream with a capital D. But yeah, I want to create profiles. So if you're role playing and you have a character that you're role playing, it would be nice to be able to have that as a set profile you can choose. And then if you're playing a different game where you're role playing a different character, then you can select whichever character it is that you want for that particular game. So having just a selection of profiles you can choose from would be good. See, this is a good time to think about what things we need to add an admin password to in the game. So things like alert states could be one of the things that we add a password to, or like a code.
Yeah. Still only showing 60. You maxed it out.
I don't think so. It should just add. No, it's still showing 16.
18.
What are you seeing?
No, I'm counting.
Okay. Have a look on the host controls. Yeah, so different things work in different ways. So like the doors on the ship are smooth because their opening and closing is being done client side, and it's just the action that's being triggered on the server. Now for the lift here and the doors, it's actually replicating the movement of the mesh. So we need to stop doing that, basically.
Being kicked off.
Still saying 16. Yeah, physics items are definitely lagging a fair bit. Oh, almost. Did you steal my cue ball?
Okay, have it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that can't join. I've definitely set it higher now.
Okay. Oh, by the way. So the question is, if you go to your host controls, how many people is it showing there? F6. 16. Is it actually 16 or is it just saying 16?
I'm counting everyone. Get everyone to line up so we can count. Okay, everyone line up in the lounge. Head count.
Okay, so it might be the case then that we've got a soft cap. Yeah, it's just in the process of being made, Robert. So the main menu says Tech Demo 3, and anything else that references Tech Demo 2 needs to be updated.
I can count 14 people in the lounge.
Okay. I just saw someone get possessed through the ceiling. That was good, BC5. What's going on there? Oh my god.
Robert, it's because the next tech demo is Tech Demo 3. And that will be updated soon.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the issue here then is we're capping at 16. So can you write that in your little book, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. 12, Anasi. So hang on. So command, sensors, comms, tactical, defenses, engineer. We've got internal security and environmental control. Yeah, you're right, 10. So yeah, so 10 players would fill every bridge station. Oh no, helm, 11. Right, so doors are good, so they need to be client side. Obviously lift doors are bad, so they need to be moved client side, and the lift itself, the movement needs to be handled client side, with the trigger events being replicated. Let's give it a mug test. Okay, mug. Good luck. Oh, not bad, not bad. The mug survived the journey. Oh, that needs moving. Yeah, so physics replication is definitely struggling. Periodically, it would seem. Hmm? Who's at the helm?
Decent here, it's probably him.
Ah. Where are you sending us? I'm not seeing a spin actually. No, that's interesting. So, alright, so you're seeing.
Let's see if we end up where I'm targeting.
Okay. Yeah, so the ship on the holo display is definitely in a spin. Oh, hang on. Right, so this is that other bug we had where the fake stars are static in space and the dynamic stars are moving. So if I turn them off. Yeah, the ship is spinning for me as well. Although the update speed is very, very low. No, okay, so let's see if I can stop it spinning a minute. Has that fixed it?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I think one of the inputs was being held down. Yeah. Give us a target. That's my job.
Sorry. hang on, let me change it. Okay, send us there.
God, I had one button to press and you took it away from me.
You need to take this button off of the sensors.
I do. Yeah, check the link in the description for the Discord. We don't have anything specific for content creators yet, Solace, but yeah, head on over to the Discord and we can have a chat. The demo update is imminent, so one of the things we're doing right now is we are stress testing various bits of the feature set. Right now it's multiplayer and how many people will break the ship. So it seems that with 16 people, we're definitely getting some lag issues. And that's just a case of, we need to set the minimum update frequency higher on some things and lower on others to make sure we manage those packet sizes. Obviously things like the lift need to be high priority, and props not quite so much. Although player movement replication is pretty much spot on, which is nice. And the cat seems quite happy. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Scanning target, Captain.
Ah, thank you.
One of the captains.
I'm not even the captain, I'm an engineer.
It's any captain that wants to listen to me.
Thought that was a planet then, it's a pumpkin.
Any idea on why it's capped at 16?
No, I'll have a look at the join code. It might be that when you set it to higher than 16, it's not actually setting it higher than 16.
We'll have to do another test next week.
Yes. I shall run down to look at the engines in a sec. Almost there. I think the lag anasi is a lot to do with just the netcode generally. So we haven't optimized the netcode at all yet. So, you know, part of what we're doing now is basically learning which aspects need to be optimized. So doors seem to be absolutely fine. Player movement seems to be absolutely fine. Interestingly, the little camera drone is lagging more than players, which is interesting. It's a different pawn, that might be why, but I'll have a look at the netcode settings on that. But yeah, we just need to stress test and optimize. Ooh, hang on, let's run down to the back a minute and see the engines fire into life. Movement of space outside the ship is also very laggy. You know, that needs to be the highest priority. We can't have laggy space. There they go. Okay. I mean, generally speaking, it seems reasonably solid. I mean, I can interact with things over your shoulder, which is kind of good. And we're both mashing buttons on the same controls, and it's working it quite nicely, so that's good.
See my survey.
Yes. That's really funny, actually. Like, if the ship's moving whilst you're doing a survey, it's actually keeping up reasonably well with it. Have a good one, Solace, thank you. Right, okay, so I'm going to clear up a space on the server a minute.
Fix some bugs.
Yeah, actually, just going to see what it says there. So it definitely says 40.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless we're just... Well, no. We must... So everybody in the past 10 minutes that's tried joining hasn't been able to get in.
Yeah. Oh, it says there are 17 now.
Okay.
Oh no, back to 16 again. 17, 18, oh, up to 18. No. Oh, it's back to 16. Oh, I think what's happening is it's showing 17, 18 people whilst they're trying to connect.
Right.
And then they're failing and it's going back to 16. Right, let's see if I can figure out what's going on with that then. Okay. Yeah, I'll try and figure out what's going on with that. So we're definitely setting max players there.
Although 16 players, we have everyone running around, playing with props, doing everything, it's still holding up well.
Yeah, apart from the lift and the doors. Yeah, there's a few issues with it, but this is just a case of ironing out some of those optimizations. Okay, so the max players variable that we're setting on the UI, we're taking from our predefined value, not necessarily what's on the session. Now, interestingly, the max players is defaulted to 16. Okay. Right, so we click host. We're encrypting the password. And where are we setting that from? I have a feeling what's happening is when we type something in the text box, it's doing a sanity check on that data to make sure that it's between 1 and 999. And it should be updating that variable. Now, it might actually be the case that when host new game is clicked, it's not properly reading that variable, and it's taking the default value of 16. So I don't think it's a coincidence that it's locking at 16. So what we can do is get text. Make sure that's the right one. Yeah. And then we convert that to a string, which we can then convert to an integer. Right, so if we use that instead of the variable, then we're reading that value directly from the UI itself. We'll try that and see whether that fixes it. Yeah, to be honest, Erix, that's the same with a lot of the multiplayer stuff. I mean, I can run multiple clients in a test environment within the editor, so I can spawn an additional client and just test some small things. But generally speaking, when it comes to multiplayer, I have to put a build out and test it live on Steam, which is definitely a pain. Multiplayer bugs are the worst ones to troubleshoot for that very reason. But we'll try that and we'll see whether doing it that way around works any better. And I suppose, actually, I'll do the same thing here as well. So where we are reading the variable, we'll instead read the field from the UI directly. I wonder if the game instance is doing something weird with it as well. We shall see. Just make a note that I have adjusted that a minute. See, the confusing thing with this actually is that if you set it to 2 or 3 players, that definitely works. We've had that working before. So I wonder if there's actually a soft cap maybe on the back end, but I would not have thought so. I think what I'll do actually is I'll also change the default on the menu. So so we don't want that one. That one. Specifically that one. Alright, if we change the default on here to something other than 16. Okay, where's that being set to? That didn't help. So we had it bound to the variable, which we don't necessarily want to do, because it's much better just to update the field when we need to update the field. So like we're doing here, we're actually so we're getting the text, sanitizing the text, re-updating the text box, and then updating the variable. So it could also be the case that because that text box was bound to this variable and we're updating both at the same time, that could have messed it up as well. But now we've broken that binding, that should be a little bit more reliable. Right, so what's the other thing that was broken? The lift doors. I think I'll handle that one off stream though, because that's going to probably be a head scratcher. What other things are we experiencing that are quick fixes?
I don't think we have any quick fixes because we've been doing it over the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of your things, like we keep going into a spin, but we're getting a lot of messing around with the reactor and stuff right now, so it could be all part of that.
Okay.
And the rest of it is sensors, UI things.
Sure.
We don't have a lot of quick fixes right now.
All right, not a problem. New players joining, affecting the holo display, so that's definitely one.
Yes.
Have you got that written down as a priority one?
No.
Yeah, write that one down. What was the other one? Oh yeah, and also write down laggy lift.
Okay, laggy lift.
Laggy lift, yeah.
That's what we're going to call it from now on. It's the laggy lift.
Exactly. Yeah, actually on the lift, I will just check its net update frequency. Where are we? Yeah, it's partially the way the lift is set to work. So basically what I've done for all the doors on the ship, I need to do the same thing for the lifts, so that the movement is handled client side, and the triggering of the movement is handled on the server. Because I don't believe this is loaded on the client at all. Yeah, so everything about this particular actor is loaded from the server. So if we net load this on the client as well, then that should smooth that off, because the client's handling some of the movement side of things. So we're replicating. Yeah, so if we replicate this value here, so we'll replicate that, and we'll replicate that. So now the client knows what we have going on in terms of the saved decks. Right, and our lift tick is running specifically on the server. And then we are right, so those need to be multicast. That needs to be a multicast as well. Because basically we're just telling the client to move the lift and to open the doors the same time as the server's doing it. Now that will result in a little bit of a delay depending on ping. So like with the main doors on the ship, like those doors there, for example, when they open on the server, the client will open them at a slightly different time, but not so much that it's much of an issue. So sometimes you'll run towards a door and then kind of hit the door for a second, like an invisible wall before it opens, but you still get the smooth opening of the door. And it's kind of the lesser of the two evils, because otherwise, in a really high latency environment, the animation is all messed up and really, really laggy, because it's trying to replicate the state of that actor. So it's better that we do that on the client, so that we're not having to replicate, the movement of all the meshes. Essentially, the less we have to replicate, the better. And we also need to make sure that we set the net update frequency to 30. So 30 frames a second should do it. To be honest, that can be 60. So the net priority is something that we're going to have to take a look at across the board. So we definitely need the ship to be highest priority. So let's make sure we do that in a minute. Reliable ship. So if we really push the update frequency on the ship, because we do not want the ship to be lagging at all. And I don't think the actual star field replicates, if I recall. Oh yes, it does. Right, let's do the same there then. Let's make sure that that is not lagging. Could have swore our fake stars were called Starfield. Which level was it on? Oh, that one, Skybox. Right, so this one is not replicating, so that would solve what was going on there. And just need to make sure, so we're getting the event. So some of the global events which are being broadcast out are only being broadcast on the server. So we could do with doing a quick sanity check on some of these, just to make sure that they are also going out on the client if needed. So like in this instance, all we're doing is just rotating the skybox in accordance to the rotation of the ship. But obviously if that wasn't replicating, then that would be why we weren't seeing it move on the client. It's also and always relevant. In terms of our net priority, basically the ship and everything the ship's doing needs to be highest priority, and then things like props need to be the lowest. Right, so starfield, skybox, and ship. Okay. Hopefully that'll be smoother now. Actually, I might put this build out, then we can give that another quick test on stream, whilst we've got lots of people hanging around. And just add some notes. Oh, actually, that's something I wanted to fix. The nebulas haven't been showing up recently, so let's see if we can work out what's going on there. That one, we want that one. No, that one. Need to make sure we haven't broken the nebula code, so it's still actually working. Not sure it should be doing that though. Oh, didn't like that. Okay, so we can figure out what's going on with that shader. Fix that plugin as well. Yep, very easily done. Marketplace. That one. Oh, that's weird. It's set to 5.4. Why is it complaining about trying to run on 5.3? I'll worry about that later. Yeah, interesting. Joyful bugs. Alright, what's going on there?
Keep having rubber banding issues and then they're being kicked from the server.
Oh, okay. How many have you got on right now?
It's saying 16, but I don't know. Keep going.
Okay. Are you going to crash? Nope, seems happy enough. Oh, I wonder actually, so it might be the case that that shader crashes the moment it tries to be red, in which case I'll have to delete it outside of engine. Yeah, so it's the moment it tries to access that material, basically it's just crashing the engine. Typically. Now the question is, which material is it? Too many folders. I think it was that one. Or was it? Actually, it's an easier way of solving that, isn't there? It was M nebula A. So we don't need those. So it's probably one of these ones. I don't think there's any other materials hiding away. server crash, or is it still running?
Still running.
Oh, okay. Dooby-dooby-doo. Right, so which material is crashing the engine? Just check these ones a minute. So, is it any of them? It should be all right. So when I click this folder, it might very well crash. Oh, no, we're good. I don't think any of these are instances, are they? That one is. Okay. Right, so that material works. So we'll save that just to be sure. What about that one? It's got an error, so I'll ignore it. Okay, B. Faint but working. And C. And D. Okay, well, other than the test one being broken, they seem alright. Okay. Can I open the material browser? No. So of course what we don't know is specifically which material is doing that, which could be a bit of a needle in a haystack. So again, that'll be something I do off stream, because otherwise it's just frustrating viewing, watching me trying to pick apart bugs. I'll try and do a package. It might be the case that actually that damaged shader comes out during the package, but we shall see. Hey Christopher, all good, thanks. Build 77. Let's see whether it actually allows us to package or not. That is true, air eggs. Although engine bugs isn't kind of what I had in mind. Any broken shaders should flag up here, but then if they're not actually used on any assets that are actually referenced by any levels, or i.e. if they're not in the reference chain, then they probably won't show up on here. We shall see. Not yet, Christopher. Oh, there is a nice error. Okay, there's a whole lot of errors there with the SQL plugin, which is typical. Alright then, we'll ignore that for a minute. Main menu. So I have to delete these two bindings a minute, along with that query. Otherwise it would fail to package. And I also need to disable that plugin. Let's get it packaged, then I can fix that. Hopefully that should package now. Well, the the tutorial for scanning and nav is going to be updated significantly for the demo update. It's probably going to be at least twice as long, so there'll be a lot more to do there. Ultimately, because there's a lot more buttons that need pressing. It's hashed, Retia Callum. I will show you. Actually, I can show you now. Where is it? Oh, here. So we encrypt the string for the password, and then when we start the session, that's actually held as part of the session settings. And then when we join the session, we do the decrypt on the same string. So the only the encrypted version of the password is actually passed over the network. So it should be fully secure. We actually do a check on where do we do that? Ah, yeah, there. So what we do is we take the string that the user types in and we encrypt that, and if the encryption of that matches the encrypted version on the session, then obviously we set the password as the match. So what we're doing is we're comparing the two encryptions, not the actual string itself, if that makes sense. Basically, yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Bricktown. Yeah, it's going to be hopefully a lot better once we've actually got some structure to the game. You know, an actual missions to complete and things, more formal things to do, rather than just, you know, messing about and having fun. So yes, that did indeed package. So what I will do a sec, let me just get that uploaded. Just moving that so it doesn't dox my password or something. Right, that should be that on Steam. And this is how we do that on Steam. So we take a look at our builds. Then we set that branch live. So that's the one we just uploaded. Set that live on default. text me a code, which I then have to type in. It's actually kind of annoying that Steam force you to have a code to put a build live, because if my phone's dead, I can't put a build live, which is really frustrating. Like, and they don't give you another option or way of doing it. Like, you can't use an email address instead or anything like that. You have to use a mobile. Right, I'm taking that one out because I had to disable the SQL plugin. Development, make sure I'm spelling it right. Right, okay, that should be live on Steam. So just post that on Discord as well, just so that everyone knows what's going on. Too many channels, can never find the one I want. Right, let's give this a whirl. So if we verify local files, that will force it to do an update. Yes, please, if you wouldn't mind quitting the server, updating Steam, and then we'll try again to see whether or not you can have more than 16 people. Okay. So, just waiting for Claire to update and start a server. Actually, I'll start a server.
Alright.
Right, I'm going to set it to 500 players. Let's just see how we get on. And I'm not going to set a password either, so let's just go for it. I can change this picture now. Yes, Paul. So, if everyone can please join my game if you have access to the dev build, and then we will see just how many players it supports. That's a good idea, Ian. I mean, ultimately, I want the loading screen to be the ship being built, so you'll see like all the decks appearing in layers as the game is loading those particular decks, which would look really, really cool. But obviously we can't do that yet because it's not finished. Okay, so we're up to 11. Marbaka, yeah, if you go to local files and verify integrity of local files, it will force an update. Okay, still up to 14 players. Make sure you've updated. It should be, yeah, build 77. One of the things we need to fix is being able to see games when when you're on a different version. Okay, I'm seeing 16 players. Still only seeing 16 in the game. So it could be doing that thing where it's bouncing people out.
Yeah, it's not empty.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, I set the text field to 32 as the default. Okay, in the next test build, which won't be tonight, but when I do the next text build, I'll hard set it to like 500 or something, and we'll see whether that does it or not. Could someone come and ride the lift for me and let me know? Oh, someone's in the lift. That's convenient. Yes, PC5, I would agree. It looks like we are capped at 16 players. That might be a hard cap on the back end, but I will have a look. Great. Yeah, I think Claire's going to make a game as well. Oh, I thought that's what you're doing. Yeah. So obviously I can't see because I'm the server, but is the lift smooth as the client now? Or is it still laggy doors? You might be interested to know the Roomba is actually me. I recorded that myself and then just used a voice changer on it. Thank you, Soak. That's good there. So yeah, so that's great then. So that means that the fix worked and the lift is now running client side. So the only thing that's now replicating is the fact that you've pressed the buttons. Okay, so yeah, I suppose we need to have a look at what's happening outside. And we seem to be inside a star again. Wow, that's nice and bright. See if I can manually hit a planet. Yes, the flashlight is client only. For now. Well, that's cool. It's nice seeing like the scanning label come up when people are doing scanning on the bridge. We made it. I'd be interested to know how smooth it is outside the window in terms of planet moving and that sort of thing. I really do need to add some kind of a HUD to the external view actually. It'll be interesting to know like what speed we're going at. Oh, don't worry BC5, I don't mind. Don't worry, we're under control. I'm going for a canyon run. So one of the things we'll be fixing when we do the sublight engines is the jitteriness of the planetary surfaces. Right now they are unstable because of floating point errors. But when we change how things move with the sublight update, the planets will actually be physically very close to the world origin at all times, which should fix that problem. Looking forward to getting down here sublight and actually flying around properly. Thanks BC5. I would hope so. Anyway, I've had plenty of practice. Be nice if the external camera was a little bit more dynamic. Kind of, rather than being locked to the back of the ship like this, have it so it's, you know, a little bit more like that as you move would be nice. Do not fear the baguette. I'm seeing... Yeah, it seems to be working. Oh yeah, I forgot the labels aren't rotating anymore. That's something else that needs looking at. Yes, Erix, we're still hitting a player cap of 16. Just going to have a quick look at both that and those labels. Right, so I'm going to set the maximum number of players to 500 as a hard cap when we're creating the session. So completely ignoring the UI entirely. That's about all we can do just to test it. Because I don't know whether or not it's how we're populating the field that's broken, or is it a hard cap on the back end? Without digging through the code for Steam Core, I guess it's hard to see. But I'll be replacing this with Steam Core Pro at some point, because this version of Steam Core won't work on Unreal 5.5. Because Epic changed something with how sessions are checked. It runs some check to see whether the session is valid, and it keeps returning false. And apparently that's probably not going to get fixed until 5.6. So we'll just upgrade to the newer version of the plugin. That should fix that. And then we can switch to 5.5, which gives us things like megalites, which would be nice. Use the test level for this one. Yes, Garzini, it is, although we will have a dedicated headless client at some point. Okay, so those names are even broken in single player. That's odd. What's going on there? Well, that can't be good. What's going on with that? One would assume that should have been the labels in there. Hang on, let's just verify that's working. Yeah, that's better. That was an easy fix. I'm assuming I deleted that when we had an issue where the Galaxy Gem was generating like 1,000 planets for some systems, and of course it's trying to rotate 1,000 labels to face the camera, which was tremendously laggy. And I must have not put it back again. Just wondering whether it's worth doing another test on the player cap. Okay, Paul, I'll have a look. Oops. Yeah, it's okay for me. I'm assuming that's just the netcode. mean, pings aren't terrible, to be fair. We're going inside a star again. How do we keep ending up inside stars? Yeah, when it comes to doing large star systems with a lot of stuff, we'll probably have to cull the labels quite aggressively by distance. Like, when you zoom out, you don't need all the labels for the moons, you only really need the label for the planet, for example. So be careful with the surfaces with the gas giants, because the tessellation makes them crash. That was terrible piloting. Yeah, that's a temporary debug thing in ASCII, so you won't always be able to set the helm target from the sensors. It's just when we've been debugging things, it's a pain to have to keep getting up and walk to the helm. Yeah, the issue there, wooden ships, is with the nanite tessellation. So we're using like a fake 3D effect on planetary surfaces and gas giants, and it's the same effect we use on the carpet to make the carpet pile, so it breaks across the board. Like if I get too close there, you can see it starts flickering, and that's because of there's some kind of a subdivision issue with the way the tessellation works, and in this particular instance it's also because this is a 1-to-1 scale gas giant, and I don't think it likes being that big. I think I might kill the tessellation on the gas giants, because it's not really bringing much to the table other than crashes, and it also makes the atmosphere look a bit weird too. The cool thing about it though is you get instances like this where you've got an actual 3D surface with the clouds, but we'll be replacing this with a proper volumetric system anyway, so all these clouds will be volumetric. Yeah, sorry, I think those of you who just crashed probably crashed because of the nanite. tessellation and me getting too close to it. Like that, which I shall avoid doing again. Yeah, sorry, my fault. Yeah, I think it's basically a client rendering thing. Oh wow, those are some spiky clouds. It's going to look so cool when these are properly volumetric. I really can't wait for that. Ploughing through the clouds to refuel is going to be one of the most epic things ever. Yeah, that would be the same issue, Morbaka. It's the tessellation. It doesn't like the camera getting too close to it, and the same thing happens on the carpets as well. If the camera collides with the carpet, then you get this freeze up, and from what I've been reading, it's because it's constantly subdividing the polygons to like infinity when the camera touches them, and that causes a crash. I'm going to go hide in the corner a minute. Oh, we seem to have a streaker on the bridge. Oh yeah, I need to fix that hair bug as well, don't I? Thank you, random streaker. You've just reminded me of something I needed to fix. So the hair is set to shadow hidden. Where are we? Cast hidden shadow. Hidden shadow there. And obviously, when no hair is selected, hidden shadow is still on, so you can still see a shadow from people's hair. So we just need to make sure that let me sort that out. Right, so we're setting it there on the camera modes. So we kind of need to set it on the customization as well. No, not yet. I think. Oops. So if that. That's what I was looking for. So if hairstyle is none, let's do a select on that. So if it's not none, then we show the shadow. Otherwise, we don't. And then we're going to have to do a variation of that on these as well. So that one is the same. Don't need it on that one anyway. Okay, so hopefully that does that. So if I find a light source, then we'll give that a test. Ah, here's a light source. So hairstyle none. Ignore that. Yeah, there we go. So it is no longer casting a shadow. Hey Seamus, yeah, all good, thank you. Yeah, the blueprint system is essential. Oh, I forgot I was also hosting a server. The blueprint system is basically a wrapper for the underlying C++. So, like, all of this stuff is just basically C++ functions behind the scenes. And what it does is, when Unreal is running, it's essentially running an emulator for the C++, and it's parsing this at runtime, which is why this is slower than native C++. So where we need performance, like if it's something that ticks at runtime, or is otherwise quite heavy on the code front, like there's a lot of math going on, then we'll be writing those in C++. For now, it's all just prototyping in blueprints. What's good about blueprints is the logic flow is really, really easy to follow and to see, because it's essentially a working flowchart, which means dealing with logic issues and fixing logic issues is really, really simple in blueprints versus something like C++, where you've just got functions defined in separate locations and there's no visual thing tying them together. But yeah, C++ is more performance, so where performance is necessary, you definitely need to be using that rather than this. But this is quick and easy and convenient, which is why I like it so much. Right, so that's that fixed. I just need to make another note a minute. Too many windows. That's got to be fixed. We fix the labels on the hollow display, not rotating to face the camera. Fixed the bold fix. Oh, I suppose it is a hairstyle, even if it's no hair. Casting a shadow erroneously. Is that how you spell erroneously? I think it is, isn't it? What else did I fix? I think that was it actually. What else? Yeah, so that 16 limit I think is specified in the code somewhere. So I need to dig through the C++.
Initiating long-range survey.
I'll find out where it is. Oh, that's interesting. So when a client initiates the survey, I can see and hear it, but not the other way around. So clients can't see that happening.
Long-range survey complete. Initiating long-range.
Still got 16 in the game.
Long-range survey complete.
Are you venturing out into the rain? Yeah, good luck. One of the down... Oh my god, it is absolutely pouring down outside. Claire is now soaking wet. Yeah, one of the downsides of working in the dev shed is there is an outside journey between the house and the dev shed. So when it's absolutely pouring down, you get quite wet. Also, if I need a wee or something. Yeah, that's an interesting one, that Oni, and I think it's a client-side thing because I don't recall not seeing any names as the server. I think everyone here seems to have a name. It's just the random things you see, people lining up chairs in the corridor. Just a random guy with no trousers on. It's going to have to be a dive job, this one. Oh, almost made it. Yeah, everyone has names, so I'll have to test that as the client and see what's causing that to happen. Yeah, this is the lowest of lower decks. Yeah, I have considered making one, Robert. Ignore the ding dong, that was my emails. Right, so that's that fixed. I need to fix the plugin for that. That's that one fixed. Okay, I think the last fix we had to do on here. Can't remember what it was now. We had an issue. Oh yeah, so when a new player joins, it's forcing the sensors back to the Galaxy mode. So even when a client joins, it affects the server, which is behavior that shouldn't be happening. So I'm assuming it's going to be a begin play thing. It's going to be this, isn't it? Although that is running on the server, so that shouldn't be. See, this is another one of those things where I can't easily test issues that occur with new players joining, because obviously when you do a test locally within the engine, both players spawn at the same time. You can do things like you can really lower the replication radius and run in and out of that radius to test things, but that's a real pain. So I'm hazarding a guess that part of the issue is that we're setting the sensor mode to galactic position on begin play, just to make sure it's reset. But that should only be happening on the server. I don't think it's happening anywhere else. Let's just skip that a minute. I don't think it's specifically that causing the problem, but let's have a quick look a minute. Just making sure that we have the right data. We do seem to. Because one of the reasons we were setting that in the first place is it wasn't properly setting the location of the ship, but we do seem to, so that's fine. Ooh, actually, there is a bug that needs fixing actually quite urgently, and that's when you change modes after having looked at the detail mode. In fact, let me see if I can make the bug happen. So on long range, you can go into a star system, and obviously it changes the display zoom to AUs, because obviously that's the relevant range for within the system. Now, if I, rather than going back and have it go back to light years, if I instead just click medium range like that and go back to long range, now it's now stuck as AUs, which means we can no longer zoom in and out of this map unless we go into a system, come back out again, and now it's set back to light years. So that should be a simple case of just forcing it when you click on the long range button. Wet much?
Yes, just a bit.
Well done for bringing an umbrella. That was some capital thinking there. Right, so long range mode, yada 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 yada. Right, so we're setting that to not have a detail target. Okay, and the page. So basically, this is where we switch between the orrery map or the star map. So we need to use that as our switch, I think. So if we go into the widget itself and ignore the green rectangle. Right, so long range, blah blah blah, long range there. Let's make use of that pin. So if we get a copy of that and we change it to long current page, and then we switch on that. Right, and then we can change the display there. But the question is, where else are we doing it? So there. Right, so this is where we're updating the buttons. Yes, Oni Noni. I was hoping that would have been fixed in the update that I just pushed out, but obviously not. I'll test that with Claire later as client. You're hosting, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think the static background stars are not rotating still. So yeah, we need to give that a quick test. Right, so somewhere we are showing and hiding these. Okay, so I'm assuming that that has its own widget switcher behind it. Oh yeah, that one. Right, where are we doing that? Okay, so I think we'll disconnect that from there. Disconnect that from there. And then instead, we will set that here instead. In fact, if we do a select on that. So sector locations 0, that one can be 1. So what this is doing is it's basically hard setting the right mode depending on what page we're using. So that should have fixed the bug. Let's try it and see. Yeah, you can turn off the fake stars in the gameplay options. Oh yeah, as Claire just said. Yeah, so I'd say about 1,000 or so of those stars are actual real dynamic stars, and all the dim ones are just background stars. So if I go into here and turn off that, so all the fake stars are now gone. In fact, you can see it even better outside. So all the stars you can see now are real, genuine 3D stars in 3D space. The reason I put the fake stars in the background is just a bit of filler. Otherwise you get kind of blank areas with nothing. But eventually we'll have a galaxy map in the background, as in distant galaxies. So, you know, when you zoom in, you'll see, you know, tiny little spirals of galaxies in the distance. So, you know, we need like known objects like Andromeda and stuff being visible. So we'll have that rather than a star field. Obviously, because when we fly away from the Milky Way, we want to be able to see the Milky Way, you know, stretching out below us, and not still have stars in the background. Yes, Kagi. So one of the things I was working on and will be pursuing is rendering stars a lot further away. So one of the issues we have is simply the volume of data. Like if we go to long range sensors and zoom out a bunch, so that's 1600 stars within the 100 light year cube that we're currently in. Now, if we were to expand that out to the 3x3x3 grid, that's more like 30,000 stars. It increases exponentially. So we can't render 30,000 stars in real time. That's just madness. But the bulk of those stars are actually M-class, some 80% of them. And you can't see them anyway, because their absolute magnitude and their apparent magnitude are too low. So the way I want to do this is I want to drive what you can see in space based on the apparent magnitude of that object, which means that we can immediately discount all the M-class stars, which is like 80% of the data load gone, and then really focus on like the B-class and the A-class, which you can see for a long way away. So like most of the stars you'll see in space will be those higher mass stars. Like one of the really cool things that I learned recently, and I've mentioned this a couple of times on stream, is that practically, if not every single star you can see in the night sky is bigger than our sun, and more massive, and with a higher apparent magnitude, which is crazy. You know, you look up in space and you think, you know, there's probably a bunch of those little dots that are like ours, but like none of them are. They're all huge, because, you know, with you know, obviously the planet's atmosphere and other things blocking the view, stars need to be very big and very bright to be visible in the night sky. And we'll apply that same concept to the game as well. And by doing so, that will reveal actual known constellations like Orion and the Big Dipper and such. Have a good one, Binary Codex. Thanks for joining. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely doable, and by using apparent magnitude as the culling device, it means that we can render stars like thousands of light years away, without having to worry about object counts so much, because you're not having to worry about all those really dim stars that you can't see anyway. Yeah, we'll have a volumetric galaxy disk for that. So that there'll be obviously that band of the Milky Way across the center. Right, let's see if I fix this bug. So go into a system, it says AU, come out of it without coming off of it, go back, and we're back to light years. So that bug is fixed. Test it again to be sure. We're in AUs, go over there, back to there, and we're back to light years. Another bug bites the dust. crew are slowly leaving me. Where did we end up? Oh, that's interesting. Some rubber banding. Who brought a fire extinguisher up from engineering? It's interesting that I'm getting some weird rubber banding as the host. I mean, that shouldn't happen. Let's see. Oh, it looks like it's the camera direction. Oh, okay. Oh, I've seen this happen before.
I thought those chairs were fixed.
Which chairs? What? Where?
Your chairs are there. Where did it go? Oh, maybe it's just me. It looked like the chair.
Ah, no, the chairs are good. Now what's happening is it's forcing the view to a certain direction when people are ragdolling around for the host. So that's
Yes. Yes. I said that to you the other day.
that's really weird.
Yeah, they can't move.
Yeah. Okay, so that's I'd class that as game breaking.
It's usually when people ragdoll. So if someone's ragdolling, it freezes up everything.
Okay.
Another ragdoll issue.
I think F5 did fix it actually. No, I think you're right. That's weird actually. Yeah, F5 fixed it. What's going on with the reactor? Good work. And we're back. It does need voice chat, I agree. We did have it at one point, but it was causing crashes. But yeah, we'll try and get that back in again.
Imagine how noisy that would be on the show.
It would be chaotic, yeah. But proximity chat would be good because at least it's just proximity and not everyone spamming the whole ship.
What a bit of quiet time to go and find a cupboard somewhere.
Yeah. Why a cupboard? Why not just a room?
Something like that. I'm not going to come in your cupboard.
Nobody come in Claire's cupboard. Yeah, I agree. Actually, seeing all the people on the ship is very, very cool. And once we've got all the systems put together, and we actually have incoming damage and things need fixing, it's going to be so atmospheric. Really looking forward to that. Press R, Marbaka, when you're holding something. That should flip it the right way up. Yeah, R. I need to add mass back to these objects, actually. Well, I reckon, on that note, I shall call it a night there. Zarya just went flying across the room. We have a lot of bugs, a lot of things to fix, but we're definitely getting there. And what we have to, so 11 players and everything seems reasonably smooth, so that's good. Okay, well, I shall do some more bug fixing. I've got a few more bugs nailed during the stream, and I'll fix a few more and put another build out. I think we'll try and definitely get a build a day going with the bug fixing that we're doing at the moment. And it's good to get these tests done as well. So what seems to be working well between me and Claire at the moment is, like, every day we'll be doing these test sessions and just writing down literally everything that's broken every single time, and just going through the book and fixing them as we go. So fix, build, and yeah, that's working well at the moment. I shall leave this server running for a bit longer. I shall go and hide myself on the bridge. Hey, Jonesy. Are we stuck in a spin? There we go. Fixed. Okie dokie. Well, thank you again, everyone, for watching the stream. It's great to have you all along, and yes, thank you for joining us on our test sessions. I think Claire's planning another one on Friday.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have another mass testing session on Friday, and hopefully I'll have the player cap fixed by then. So we'll see if we can get more people into a game. But until then, have a great week, everybody, and I shall see you on Wednesday.
Bye.
Have a good one, everyone. Bye for now.